So here we go with the second part of our South Island trip in April-May 2024. Part 3, because when I was doing part 1 the battery ran out, so I had to make part 1 in 2 parts. So we're now at part 3. So I hope this is a bit better. The previous one was quite dark and there was a bit of shaking from the camera, but hopefully I've got that sorted. So this is when we left Franz Josef and we were heading to Mount Cook. So this is on Highway 6 down the west coast. Once again, you can see the weather, beautiful, and the bush, the native bush, just lovely. Another one-way bridge. Another one-way bridge. Another one-way bridge. Another one-way bridge. This one's got a passing lane in the middle of it. You can't really see it, but there's a passing lane. You'll see it clearer in another bridge coming up. Look at that weather. This is just so lovely of the west coast. This is coming down towards the end of the west coast road where you go inland for a little bit and then come back out on to see the sea. Now this is the bridge over the Haast River. It's really long and it's got 2 passing bays in it, so you can pass, but it's pretty narrow. We always wait until it's clear before we start going over. You can see there the passing bays, but they're quite small. You couldn't get a truck or anything in them or a car and trailer. It's only just for a car, but like I say, we tend to just make sure there's nothing coming and cross our eyes and cross our fingers and hope for the best. Just stunning. This is around Haast, looking towards the Southern Alps. It's a Haast River in the background putting up the sort of mist from it. This is the bridge called the Gates of Haast, where you cross over the river. Once again, it's one way. It's amazing because of the sound of the water. You can see there the force of the water, and like that rock is sort of as big as a car, if not more. The force of the water is just incredible to see and hear. You're not supposed to walk on the bridge, but Hamish took a few steps in and took this photo. And that one, yeah, just amazing, the force of the water. And that's our car parked at the Gates of Haast Bridge. This is now going up from the Haast River towards the Haast Pass itself, and there's cattle stops in the road to let the water go because they get about 7 metres of water down here, which is a lot of rain. Yeah, I meant 7 metres of rain a year, not 7 metres of water. And this is the summit itself. It's quite a low pass, 564 metres, so it's the lowest of all the passes through the Southern Alps. And it's amazing because you sort of go from rainforest to really dry, tussocky conditions within the space of about 10 kilometres, just because all the rain falls on the seaside of the Southern Alps, and so that makes the eastern side very dry. Just beautiful. This is Lake Hawea on the left. So we're getting towards Wanaka now. So we've passed through Wanaka and we're now on State Highway 8 heading towards Mount Cook. I think that's the Hawkden Range. It just really struck me with the formation of the hills, and there's a very famous New Zealand painter called Graham Sidney who's done a painting kind of very similar to this. Now we're heading over the Lindis Pass. As you can see, there's some snow towards the summit. And as we get towards the summit, there's snow on the sides of the road. It had snowed a couple of nights earlier, I think 2 or 3 nights earlier, and it was still there on the road in that little part. You can see it's even on the back of the road sign there, so they've obviously had quite a bit of snow. Now we're coming into the Mackenzie country. It's the Southern Alps covered in snow behind it. Looks really lovely. This is coming towards Twizel Way. Now we've just turned off Highway 8, which takes you through to Tekapo and stuff, up Highway 80, which is there's only one way to get into Mount Cook, one way in and out, and that's Highway 80. So we turned off there, and as you can see, it's 55 k's from the turn off to Mount Cook. Now the reason it's got that brown sign with the stars is because it's what they call a dark sky area, because there's a the air is very clear, and you can, for those into astronomy and stargazing and stuff, you can see the night sky really, really well. So there's rules about how much light you can put out at night and that sort of thing. It's quite famous. And there's an observatory at Mount John at Lake Tekapo, which is not that far as the wood pigeon flies from Mount Cook. And they get some amazing shots from there. So this is coming along Highway 80. We stopped at a rest area, lookout area, and Mount Cook just looks magnificent. So this is like Pukaki, which is there because there's glaciers up, the Tasman Glacier up. Well, there's lots of glaciers, but the Tasman Glacier provides the water as it melts for Lake Pukaki. And I took a panorama shot. Yeah, it's sort of hard to see, but that there is Mount Cook. But you can just see how magnificent it looks. Another view of Mount Cook coming towards it. Just stunning. Yeah, words fail me. But you can see how dry and tussocky it is because all the rain falls on the far side of the Southern Alps. So this general area on the eastern side of the Southern Alps is very, very dry and arid. As you get closer to Mount Cook, there's a webcam that we look at a lot of the time at Glen Tanner. It's about, 10 k's from Mount Cook itself. So we stopped because we knew it took photos every 5 or 10 minutes. So we stopped. That's our car there. And you can see the time on the 9th of May at 3:03, we were there. It's just quite exciting. Well, it was to us. You can see once again some of the trees have got beautiful autumn colours on. So this is driving into Mount Cook itself, and there's several types of accommodation, but the main one is called the Hermitage, which has been there since the early tourist days in the late 1800s. And there's been about 3 different hotels called the Hermitage because a couple of them have burnt down over the decades. But the current hotel that's there is called the Hermitage as well, and that's where we were booked in to stay. Cost us an arm and a leg, but you'll see the view from our room in a minute, and it was worth every cent. That is the view from our room at the Hermitage. The minute we walked in and saw that, the amount of money we paid just melted away. It was just fantastic. So we were up on the 9th floor. As you can see, I've circled our room there. Hamish went down and took a photo. That's me there. This is just some arty stuff I took after we'd left Mount Cook to carry on. We stopped in at Omarama. There's what they call the clay cliffs. It's just a phenomena how the erosion is cut into the limestone or whatever it is. It's a gravel road to get in, and you have to open a gate. So this is the clay cliffs here. The photos don't really do them justice, but if you're ever in the area, they're worth a look. They're sort of a bit more reddish than the pictures convey, but they're very sort of rugged. And it's got all the boards there telling you all about it, but just quite amazing formations, all done by Mother Nature. So we went back over the Lindis Pass because we were on our way to Cromwell. There we are, 970 metres above sea level on the Lindis Pass. Once again, you can see some of the trees. We did a day trip from Cromwell. We went to Queenstown, which has changed a lot in the 15 plus years since we've been there. It's lost a bit of its charm, I think, although the mountains and scenery are still beautiful. We went up towards Glenorchy and stopped, so the mountains you can see there, that's the Remarkables, and that's Lake Wakatipu that Hamish is looking over. We had some lunch and coffee there. Now this thing here, it's sort of hard to see, but it's like a little submersible submarine, and you pay to go in it. There's the driver and you go in behind him or her. And it's actually shaped like a shark, and it's incredible to watch. It's just like a shark coming up out of the water. It's quite neat. This is coming into Arrowtown. We just did a little tiki tour through there. And this is the road between Queenstown and Cromwell, just really rugged country. And there was a lot of gold there in the 1860s, 70s, huge gold fields in this whole Central Otago area. And the poor miners, I mean, all they had was pick and shovel to make roads and break through this really, really rugged landscape. And the winters get very, very severe. So, yeah, you just feel how hard it was for them. We sit there in our air-conditioned cars with the seat on, heated, and you just think how hard it was for the poor guys back in the early days. We stayed at a motel which is part of the Highlands Motorsport Park because we're mad on motorcycle racing and quite like car racing as well. So we took the photo of this sign at the entranceway. And they've got some quite neat sculptures around the place. That's a seagull, albatross. And at the Highlands Park, they've got a little museum, and so we went there to have a nosy, and this is me with one of my boyfriends, Richie Stanaway. Well, it's actually a cardboard cutout of him, as you probably figured, but it was quite exciting. Have to stop here because the phone's going. Hello?